My benchmark of like when they need a shower or bath is if their hair is so gross or their nails are black, and that's a time for me to reset.
Are they working in the mines?
Well, no,
Why are their nails black?
They yearn for the mines.
The children yearn for the mines.
I just don't.
The Dad Collective Podcast.
And we are back. I'm Daniel.
I'm Paul.
And this is
The Dad Collective Podcast.
your favorite podcast on all the internets.
I was going to, because if you were going to say of all things dads, I was going to say we're just
No, we're across
whole
the board.
in the world. You
They-
like cooking podcasts? This is your favorite podcast.
Yeah,
You
cut
like
it.
beauty
Fuck
podcasts?
Barefoot Contessa. Like, this is Paul and Daniel.
This is it. We're like the new Emerald. Bam!
Boom.
We're
That's
in
how
your
we switched it
podcast
up.
ears.
I'm feeling good, man. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I'm getting there. We're not doing this during the day because that was just like
It was a train wreck.
that was not a fun. It was a great episode for
It was
the
a good
people
episode.
on the outside.
I can't muster up the energy.
We were like looking at our phones to tell dad jokes, and I see like everything's on fire in the entire world.
How do you get your work done if you can't read during the day?
I can't read at all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so it's a
sorry,
sensitive
This is
topic.
Cue the classical music. And
We used
I'm
to
gonna-
play music sometimes when in the show. I can bring that back. You remember like the first couple episodes? I put some like background music on like when you were talking to your future kid. And
yeah.
we
That
don't do
feels
that
like
anymore.
so long ago, but that was
Yeah,
not.
we've grown so much since then.
It's crazy how the personal growth and journey that we have taken. We've walked the hot coals of life together.
Pre-dad to
I had a
post-dad.
fucking kid.
Yeah.
That's wild. Who let that
How's
happen?
that going?
It's great. He's
like him still?
Yeah, it's, some days. He's
Anytime someone has an upward inflection in their tone, you know they're lying.
I love him. Yeah, he's
I love
good.
him.
He's a great kid. Actually a good guy. He's a good dude.
They're
Yeah.
either lying or they're Mickey Mouse.
No, he's good when he's like, he just hates to nap. And but everyone's like, oh, babies nap all the time. No, this kid does not nap.
You know who likes a nap?
You at 4 p.m. every
No,
day if you're
that's
not
true.
having sex.
It's true. I did do that.
Yeah.
I had sex. I'll
Have
tell
you
all
showered
about
yet?
that. No, haven't showered yet, but this is the same day as the
Don't
last
tell
episode.
the people it's internet magic.
Back by unpopular demand, you haven't requested him, and so we said, why not? I was driving down to film this podcast today. I said, what are you doing? He said, nothing. I said, you want to be on a podcast? He's like, sure.
It's weird because every time I invite him to do something, he's always like, I got something else going on.
That was tomorrow
something-
night.
I got something going on. I
And so
invited
here
him to come
he is.
over for the fight. He's like, okay, we got something going on. Can't do it. Can't do it. Oh, sorry, Chrissy's going out tonight. I gotta watch the kids.
I don't sound like that, guys.
You're not on the camera yet.
Yes, he is. Because
Oh.
No, I'm on
Really?
the camera. I'm on the camera.
This is the
Welcome me.
future.
Daniel Schreiber.
Round
Hey.
of applause, studio audience. Jamie.
you.
We don't have a Jamie.
Thank
No, we
you.
gotta-
We need a Jamie.
We
Welcome
need a
back.
Jamie.
I know you-
I need a different name than Jamie though. Like there's the Jamie.
No, you're not the Jamie.
He
No,
could- he
no, I'm
wants
saying
to be,
for the
though.
producer.
Oh, you want to be the Jamie?
I would love to be your Jamie.
In like that little.
I would sit there.
Sorry,
and
guys. I
would-
already have a Jamie.
I would not know how to work any of the equipment, but I would look up all of you like the stuff
That's
that
what
you
I'll-
need.
Do you
that's
know
all
how
I
to
need you
look?
to
Do
do.
you know how to
Yeah,
look up
yeah.
things? You know how to? How's your interneting skills?
I've been teaching him.
Mine are like the
Are you online?
WWWs.
You plugged in that AOL.
I'm on
Why
the
don't, you, why don't you,
disc?
speaking of your internet skills, why don't you explain to Paul how like productive you are with like the content you find during the day and revisit at nights, and or are we leaving that off the
We're leaving
podcast?
off the podcast
Okay.
because there's
What?
1,300 subscribers.
No, we're growing. We're almost.
I know
at
you're growing,
1,700.
so now you're at
1,700.
1,700
Just on YouTube, and then I
Congratulations.
think TikTok we got 6,000. On TikTok we have 6,000 followers.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Congratulations,
insane.
guys. Who are they?
Jim.
Sarah.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Mike.
people from like
Yeah,
Brazil for some reason.
Yeah.
We popped off in South Africa. It was a weird week where we had like a spike of like 30,000
South
views in
Africans.
South Africa. I have no idea what
Interesting.
they were
Algorithms,
commenting.
baby.
I'm pro South Africa.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
We're not talking pros and cons here.
Oh,
It's not
okay.
that kind of podcast.
I'm pro everything. How about that?
Yeah.
Are you?
I'm pro.
You're pro life?
I meant like from a vacation standpoint, by the way. Like I really want to go
See,
there.
this is what I was
Yeah.
saying. He just doesn't.
Years ago, Dustin Koffler went there, and he still has like his
Stone.
like icon, his image is of him like
That's sad.
snowboarding
That's
on the
him
sand
trying to live in the
dunes.
past.
I was just,
Every time I see that, I think I want to go to South Africa.
just visit the Beckers.
All of them.
All the Beckers.
Every
of them.
Becker.
Beckers from futures past.
I picture them walking around being like Becker,
So-
hundreds of them.
Like
So,
minions.
what's new in the CPG world, boys?
Oh my God. This,
Let Schreiber
this
update you, 'cause
entire
I'm done.
episode
Okay, so
is
you're gonna,
sponsored by Goldies.
you're going to talk to the mic,
www.goldies.ca.
and that's $15,000 after the show.
Keep
so
going. No.
No free brand deals.
Post-dated check. Go on.
Goldies is a super seed cereal.
Give the update of where Goldie's is. Everyone knows
Yeah.
what it is.
You know what? Goldies, I'm not going to know where it is, where it's going.
Yeah.
To the moon.
To the moon, baby. Literally to the moon. Mine and Carson's product is going to the moon, and that's the coolest thing in
That
the world
is.
to me.
I thought you
Twice. Yep. Yeah. Do you
Like
want me
the
to
real-
hold, do you want me to hold my mic like this?
No, I'm saying that the real moon.
Yeah. So one time we're going around the
big
moon.
cheese in the
Artemis. We're going on
sky.
Artemis.
What's Artemis?
That's the name of the mission.
Mission Artemis.
Mission
Is that going to be
Artemis.
the next Moonswatch name?
It's going to be his next tattoo's name.
You're going to need a tattoo called Artemis.
Oh, if winter, yeah, like when things are fucking
Can you get a
full fledged,
NASA?
I'm gonna get like a Goldie's like G like
On your face?
No, I'm gonna get. We said that the other day. We said we need to get little
face
G's like
tattoos?
teardrops.
Yeah.
But no, imagine getting. I just thought of this on the spot, like a realistic, like good quality tattoo artist moon picture, and there's all the craters and stuff, and like one of the main craters is like just our G, like in the shades and shadows.
I would say the flag on the moon should be the G.
that's too
That'd
obvious.
be cool too.
Yeah, and see.
So that's what Schreiber will get. I'm more of like an.
Shriver's
artsy
going to get
kinda
a
guy.
tattoo.
I'm not getting
He's
a
been
tattoo.
talking about it since
Like a tramp stamp, a
he's
Goldie's
14.
tramp stamp.
I would love to get that. I was
Are we allowed
thinking
to
like a
call it
little
that?
fire ring around my belly button
Oh
to
my
start off
goodness.
with, like something simple
Or like
and
a
like
yin
classic.
yang, like a yin yang kind of thing.
Or
Yeah,
some
that's
like,
cool.
Asian letters on the back of your arm.
Let's say like
Actually, tell you
water.
the truth, out of all the things, yin and yang speaks to me more than any other symbol. I just like it, like the
What
good,
about this
bad.
more than Star of David?
What other symbols are there?
I don't know. There's lots of symbols out there.
Like
Give us one other
Swastika
symbol.
has a negative connotation,
It's a bad symbol.
right? And then obviously like
What's another good symbol?
like
a
thumbs
smiley
up,
face.
thumbs up, smiley face,
Are
peace
those
sign.
emojis?
Every time, what was that TV show with the smiley face with the yellow smiley face with the bullet in the head?
Oh,
The Watchmen.
Yeah.
Boom, Watchmen.
Yeah.
I answer my own question.
great.
I'm quicker than all of you
It was
guys.
pretty good.
Fast
I
Man
didn't
Alive.
love, I
That's
didn't
what she
love that. It's too much big blue dick in that movie. Just flopping around. It's just a lot of it.
that scene where the guy explodes out of the other guy's dick in the
Oh, in
That's
the new
the-
boys.
that's the
oh my,
Boys.
that's one of the because the first episode of the first scene of Boys,
Yeah.
the first episode where he runs
is it.
through her,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
and,
it.
and he's
Season 1. Yeah.
right season 1. I thought that was the craziest thing I've ever seen on TV.
They just kept
and then I
pushing
remember
it.
you guys were like, Schreiber, wait till you see the first or like whatever scene in this season. You'll know what we're talking about.
It's a good show.
It was insane.
It's a
It's coming
good-
back
it's
in
a good
June,
show.
guys. So
It
if
is.
you are a fan of the boys, check
Huge
it
fan.
out.
Yeah.
And if you're a fan of these boys,
Check
then
us out.
You got to like us and rate our stuff on the audio podcast.
Does
and you can
Schreiber
win one of
know
these
the
things.
giveaway? Has he heard it?
I would hope so.
What's
Or
the
he's a bad
giveaway?
friend. He's a bad friend.
Bad friend.
That's bad
Tell
friend
Schreiber
behavior.
and tell the audience.
First of all, treat me like a boomer. So pretend like you already
Well,
know.
you
I
do get
haven't-
the seniors discount.
Thank
You've already
you.
explained that to the audience. So if you are listening on any of the audio podcasts, or if you're watching our beautiful faces on YouTube, head over to the audio. Whatever you use, whether it's Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, Apple, all that bullshit, make sure you like our episodes and our channel, because once we hit 100, we're giving away something from the wall. And maybe we'll put a
Like
pack
this
of Goldies
nostalgia?
up there and you can pick that, because I'm very tied to all of these things.
You should. You have a pack of Goldies in your car, Schreiber. We'll put it up on the wall.
I don't have Goldies in my house.
Put it on the wall. Put it on the wall.
I
But
like
yeah.
the Alf. The Alf is talking to me.
Yeah, Alpha's pretty sweet.
Well, that might be the giveaway. So make sure you rate it. Make sure you like it.
Even
and,
if you don't.
And connect.
Just do it anyways,
Do
because
it
you
as
know,
a favor.
like pay it forward, like that movie. Just don't get stabbed at the end.
Like pay it forward.
Like pay it forward. He got stabbed at the end. Spoiler alert. If you haven't seen it, it's your fault.
Did he not pay it forward?
No, he
Is
just
that
gets
the
stabbed.
lesson
No,
of
the
the movie?
stabber paid it forward and he just misinterpreted the message.
Maybe he's paying it forward in heaven now.
Paying something.
So this episode, we're diving deep.
Yeah, I
We're-
wanted a nice little general fucking overly episode based on the fact that we just like kind of been offside for the past minute and a half.
Yeah.
That brings us to like the reality of the episode. And that's more about like what kind of like morals, lessons, bits and tidbits of wisdom are
Interesting.
you hoping to kind of give to your kids as they grow up? Like, what are some like core kind of values that you want to do? And we can dive into each one. I actually made a list on my own because I wanted to think. I took this
You're
seriously.
like, can you like make a list? I was like, if you only knew what my day was like, I'm not making lists.
No, I took some time today, made a little bit of a list because I wanted
I
to.
love how you take time to do
serious.
that, but you don't take time to shower.
Listen, I put work.
Why didn't you? You could have made the list in the shower.
Had I showered?
All of my best ideas come in the shower.
Yeah, but I didn't know where to write them down.
It's like use Siri. Hey Siri.
Don't do that. You're gonna set my phone off.
That's
You set yours off.
Uh-oh.
Now
Oh
Siri's
man, my client's
listening.
just lost a property.
This podcast sucks.
Yeah.
Siri.
But yeah,
Oh,
man.
Siri.
So he hasn't showered in a couple days.
Couple
Why?
It's
days.
been 3 days.
I haven't had a chance.
3 days.
Shower.
3 days.
3 days, like 72 hours you haven't showered.
Yeah.
Yeah, 72 hours.
That's not normal
That's
behavior.
insane.
Okay, so one of the things
I'm
I want to
actually, I'm
instill,
condemning this. I'm condemning it.
Condemn
one
all you
of,
want.
so
Condemning it.
one of the things
About
I want
time
to
you
instill on
condemn something.
my
Condemning it.
children is hygiene
Hygiene?
and showering every day.
Yeah. I feel like
Do your kids shower
Yeah,
every day?
there's levels to it though, right? Because like I'll bathe my kids twice a week, definitely twice a week.
yeah, me
Yeah.
too.
Just twice a-
Wednesdays and Sundays. they
Twice
get
a week.
bath.
So
Mine
they
Sorry,
go-
Evan gets a bath every day because it's part of his routine to go to sleep. I'm talking like
That's it's
Max and
Asher right now
Harlow.
too.
Yeah, twice a
Yeah,
week.
twice
So
a
that's
week.
that's.
So I'm living on the kid time.
Yeah, you-
But don't your kids get dirty and sticky? Kids are always sticky.
no,
Yeah, but we
Every
also-
time I call you, your kids are up to some shit. So
Yeah,
they're getting into
literally, though.
shit.
My benchmark of like when they need a shower or bath is if their hair is so gross or their nails are black, and that's a time for me to
Black?
reset.
Are they working in the mines?
Well, no,
why
like-
why are their nails black?
They yearn for the mines.
the children yearn for the mines.
Like that? Why are their
Greatest
nails
meme.
black, man?
Not their nails aren't black, but under
Like
under their nails.
Like Atlas is turning goth, and he's all of a sudden just painting his nails.
he
But
he loves
there's
painting.
times where like
Oh, he
you know,
does,
there's
actually.
there's visible cues like they're sitting at the table and they get like sauce all on their face and they're having a shower.
Oh, that yeah. At that point,
right.
you
But
have no
otherwise,
choice.
if all things.
But then what's
being
your
you-
freaking? Where's your meter? What's your
my
meter?
meter
He just
is
said
like-
what his meter was.
No, that's no, he didn't. He said what his kids are
obvious-
meters.
So I
oh his meter. God,
I
it's
may
not the
shower-
kids. Yeah, what's your meter?
I may shower less if I'm really really busy.
First of all, I'm going to
and-
interject for a
Go
second. I'm actually disappointed
he's,
in you.
he's the host.
Okay.
Because I know that because you've told me that you stand by I shower before I get into bed because it's gross getting into bed
Correct.
without showering. That's you.
Correct, yeah.
And now you've shattered my
So
view
it's a
of
lie.
you
No, so
because
I'll tell
3
you-
days in a row you've gone into your bed dirty, filthy.
Good
Like
point.
filthy.
Good point.
From
So
the
I'll-
day.
I'll tell you why.
And I said,
Please.
yeah, I felt bad for your
So
sheets
this
and
isn't
Jamie.
like this isn't a weekly thing, obviously. Occasionally I hit a week where I'm just super busy and things or whatever, and it becomes the least priority. And it becomes less of a priority when I'm not out. So if I'm not going out or going to places where I'm getting dirty and I'm kind of like working from
Where are you right now?
That's what I'm saying. So I'm out. This is my first time kind of out. I'm going to go home and shower today. I've been out a couple times today, so today's a shower day. But the last 3 days.
So that's his threshold. If
No.
he leaves the house,
If I leave the
that's
house.
the first. That's
if
the
I'm working in my
first filter.
basement and I'm going to sleep in my own bed, would I shower? Yeah, I would still shower. But if I miss a shower, I'm less concerned about it because I don't feel like I have outside germs on me.
It's the outside germs. It's not presenting yourself to people.
It's the outside germs. Yeah, I don't care about presenting. I can make. If I didn't tell you, you wouldn't have known I was a filthy mess.
I would have.
I'm an absolute prima donna. I have to shower in the morning everywhere I,
do
am
it.
in
But
life.
But that's part of
Yeah.
your more of a
But I can't do
routine
it.
than less about
no, but like I
about
mean, like
cleanliness.
if that doesn't happen, it's not going to be great for everybody.
So this is yeah.
I don't shower in the
we
morning.
got
I
to.
can't do it.
We've already talked about this, and we got to move on. That's one thing I'm listening to my kids is fucking hygiene.
Yeah,
and
hygiene's
do
important.
as Daniel does.
And making your shit kids learn and figure out and work on brushing their teeth because that becomes the real point of contention.
Yeah.
Actually,
It's just like a lot of work.
I
and you
don't
gotta
feel like
stay on
I was
top of
like that
it.
as a kid. I was always brushing my teeth.
Yeah, but you don't remember how you were like at 3, 4,
I can tell you
5, 6.
specifically about brushing teeth. It's that my oldest sister took care of my dental hygiene growing up.
That's
As
good.
like
Have you had-
like her.
Have you had
role
many
in the house.
cavities?
No, I've never had a cavity in my
Me
life.
too. High five to that.
Never had a cavity
There it
in my
is.
life. Clean teeth.
I love
Not
it.
the best looking teeth, much like my sperm. If you remember
Clean?
that episode.
Clean but not not mobile.
I don't. Yeah, I don't.
So Paul's clearly puts hygiene up there. Schreiber, any like life lessons and like, you know, traits or things that you really want your kids to kind of take with them that either A, you do or you stand by, or B, you can't do, you have trouble struggling to do it, but yet you want your kids to do it in spite of
Wait.
maybe your behavior.
Yeah.
1 second. I just want to. Is there anything that you guys are hypocritical about? Like you don't do it, but you force it on
Yeah.
your
Yeah, I
kids?
There
can
will
tell you
be.
making the
Yeah?
bed. My
Okay.
kids have to make their beds in the morning. They're like, "Daddy, you didn't make your bed." I was like, don't worry about my bed. Make your bed.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of making beds.
I don't make my bed either.
No, in general, I don't want my kids
So
to do it. I don't
You
want
don't want
to.
your kids making their bed?
No.
So
Why?
I actually I don't know if I read something or saw something about making a bed.
Yes.
And it was like a general from the army.
Yes.
And he was saying,
you start your every day, and it's like. Blah,
so
blah, blah.
if you have a bad day, at least you come back and you know you've done
Accomplish
something.
that.
And it's,
If
Well,
you need
that's
that to
if-
fucking make
if-
yourself
yeah.
full, take that general gun and smash your brain with it.
Well, that's like, yeah, if you're
I
like,
am
if you were
offended
proud
by
of
that,
yourself,
actually,
because
and
you
it's also a trigger.
because
Get a gun.
if you're proud of yourself for making your bed, and that's like,
the only thing you accomplished that day.
I literally was.
You come home,
You're
your wife's like,
crying in your
you
bed."
didn't do any of the things. I made the bed. 8 seconds.
Hey, that's the Evan voice.
It's
And
just-
this might be ironic coming from someone who just said that they haven't showered in 3 days, but it's now a known fact that making your bed is actually like worse for your personal hygiene because it traps in all the dust mites, it traps in all the germs, it traps in all the sweat. Unmade beds are typically more clean.
Because they breathe.
They breathe.
Let her breathe, baby.
So that's why I don't want my kids to do it, because my kids are fucking disgusting sometimes. And like you said, they're
That's-
sticky and they're this and they're
this is like-
gross. And they'll fart and whatever. And I just want their bed to like air out. I don't want to trap any of
That's
that
what you're
kidness
worried
in there.
about.
That's part of what I'm worried about. I'm worried about
See,
many things.
you know
I'm
one
worried about
thing
the
that-
state of politics. I'm worried
Yeah,
about the
a lot of
world.
things, yeah.
I'm
Okay,
worried
so
about a lot of
Schreiber,
stuff.
what are some things that you want to pass along to those little?
So it's all like
babies
it's
of yours?
categorical. There's a lot
Feel
of
free to go big picture if you
Yeah,
want.
but this is a big picture because there's a lot of way to say it. So like I definitely need them to be leaders.
Okay,
I definitely need them to be
all three of them being leaders. There's three of them. Who's
Yeah,
gonna
I
lead-
definitely need
who's
to
gonna
in
be
their
the leader
peer
of the
Someone's
group?
got to follow.
Someone's gonna follow there.
Harlow is their queen.
Okay,
Harlow
she's the
she's-
oldest.
She'll be dethroned by Evan for sure.
Yeah, but
This
I
is
definitely
like
need
Game
them
of
to be
Thrones shit,
leaders.
Like,
Be sure of your
Confident. That's what they call it,
confidence
confidence.
in like what's right, what's wrong, what's black, what's white, what's weird, what isn't. The idea of being easily influenced. I want them to not be easily influenced because there's so much influence. It scares me a lot. Like, how do you control what is influencing them from what they see, right? So like you have to talk to them about everything that they're doing. Like I had a talk with her teacher today. She explained to me a scenario that I was questioning.
oh no,
Elaborate.
this is what we deep
Oh
dive
no,
into.
easy stuff. Like Harlow came home, I think it was yesterday, and she's like, my after school care, her PLASP teacher,
Yeah.
said that treats and snacks can kill you. And I was like, huh?
The teacher
What?
said this?
The teacher
So
said,
Harlow said that.
Oh, got it.
She said treats and so I was like, okay, like this is so we had to talk like that's not the case, blah blah. blah.
Yeah.
And
Did
so-
you talk to Harlow about like lying or like embellishing?
So today I went to the other PLASP teacher. There's two of them.
what are you saying?
PLASP, it's the after school program. Like, so she
Okay.
stays in school after school.
That's
The
like-
my kid's program is called Fun on the Run.
Yeah,
His
they're
is
fun on
PLASP.
the- yeah, exactly.
It's not as
We're in
exciting.
Toronto
I think-
though, so it's like the Toronto.
Oh,
I think
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think you guys need a marketing freaking.
So hold on a second. So you
So
went to the
so-
other teacher to tell
yeah,
him
so,
the first
so I was
teacher?
like, hey, because I have a report with her.
Got it.
Were
So
you
I was like, hey,
gossiping?
Harlow said that the other teacher said this. She's like, oh, the situation was we were on like in the yard and there was a kid there.
with a nut allergy.
Who wasn't part of our group and we didn't know who he was and he was offering the kids candy.
What?
And so we had to tell Harlow,
Wait
Middle
a
school.
second. So there was a random dude offering
not
kids
dude,
candy.
kid.
It's just another kid on the other side of the fence.
So the dude
No.
hired
Like,
hired a
in-
kid.
in the yard of the school after school hours. I don't know, maybe doing
okay,
his
yeah.
thing, whatever.
Go
I don't
on,
know. Yeah.
go on.
So they had to tell like Harlow and the other kids like you can't take candy from strangers. And then I guess there was a why. And the easy thing that they decided to say
'Cause
is
it'll
because
kill
it can
you.
kill you because it has poison in it. And I was like, oh, so the teacher said the candy can have poison and it can kill you. And she's like, yeah, that was the context. And I was like, that was a little bit too much context for a 4 or 5 year old, but okay, I get the context now. So that was it.
So you're okay. You're like, all right, that's a pass.
Well, no, it's just
So
like,
how
what
are
can you
gonna-
say? It was
so
already,
now
it was
she's
already
gonna be
said,
she's gonna be
right?
terrified of
Yeah, well, that's the
trick-or-treating.
whole point is that, I mean, my question is why even bring it up if it's already
Because I
said?
wanted to understand what Harlow meant.
Yeah, because it's broken telephone,
But you know
right?
what? So, for example, when Sunny, it is broken television, and you learn that very
No,
quickly.
I wanted to be maybe Harlow's like, can I have a treat? Can I have a treat? Can I have a treat? And the teacher's like, no, treats will kill you.
Like,
Yeah,
I
you're
would have
gonna
been
get fat
like,
and
don't say
die.
that to my child.
Of course,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
I'm
But this
saying,
is, I
but
wanted to know
like,
the context.
I mean, even that scenario, I can't believe the teacher even said it.
That's
But
course.
like, Joey used to tell me that her teacher in daycare, she'd come home from daycare at the age of like 3 or 2, and say that her teacher told her that if someone hits her, she should smack back. and I have a whole hilarious video. I'll show it right now. It's literally the funniest video I have of Joey since birth. So smack back video. This is it.
Birth was the funniest video.
Yes. So here's the smack back video.
If someone hits you, smack back.
Who said that?
Yes!
Who said that?
Janice!
You don't fight with your friends.
So what did your teacher tell you to do?
Smack back.
No, she didn't.
Yes, you did!
And so
That was a great video.
That was
so
so
good.
good.
But like we didn't even begin to question the teacher because this is what kids say shit. And like although in that case it's like, what do you mean by that? But I can't imagine a teacher telling for a kid to hit another kid.
But the thing is, I also understand where the teacher was coming from.
But then
Like,
why not just ask the teacher? Like, why are you going to, I know you're
she wasn't there. She like
Because he has a rapport.
fuck your rapport, man.
He's not
So,
just
so the
gonna-
other teacher is the other class's teacher. Harlow's in this class, right? So they go to the yard together. There's the whole thing. She was
So you
just
want
like-
your kid to be a leader,
yeah.
So
and
they
you
go
want your
back
kid
into
to
it.
be stand up, have
Confidence.
morals, confidence.
Yeah.
Believe in what
Yeah.
they believe in.
Paul, how about you? Any traits that you're thinking about? Like, I'd love for my kid to be, this way or that way.
I guess it's all on the same trend here. It's like you want them to, I want him. Yeah, no, I guess I would want my kid to.
Not all kids are leaders, by the way, and it's okay. So in other words, if sometimes it's okay not to be a leader. I'm not saying being a sheep follower but not everyone's a leader.
Oh my God, there's a lot of assist people out there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Co-captains.
so what I
I'm
want
your
to.
co-captain.
Damn right.
Love you.
There it is.
Ride till we die.
I want him to always feel like he can talk to me about anything and have an open line of communication, not be scared. Like if you run into any problems, you can come to me. If you run into any financial issues, you can come to me. Like there's no judgment there. Like that open line of communication I find is not having that fear of
Did you
coming
have
to a
fear
parent.
going to your parents?
There's I would talk to my mom before I would talk to my dad, and it was the same with you.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's just how we were wired.
So you want to continue that trend? In other words, it's not like, oh, you didn't have that as a kid, so now you want to be the kind of parent that is.
There are things that I will go and try to figure it out on my own, but when
Today, or
when
when
I'm
you were
not like a
growing up?
40-year-old man. But like there were things that I would try to figure out on my own before I went to my parents.
Yeah.
Right. So
obviously.
it's I want him to feel like if he's struggling in any way that he can come to me and confide in me and feel it's a comfortable space.
So I have a follow-up question to that because this
of
next
course
part
you do.
is
Here we
a
go.
little bit interesting. He can come to you for anything.
Yeah.
You said financial, this, that. He
Anything.
has a problem. When he does come to you for those reasons, what do you think your move's going to be? Are you going to be the parent
Stone
who
cold
just bails
stunner.
them out of all those problems, or are you going to help guide them to solve these problems?
It's a little
So
bit.
in other words,
it's
it
a
comes
little
like,
bit of
my
column
dad,
A, column B.
I gambled, extreme. I gambled like everything.
Is this a
something
Danny
away.
Tanner moment?
It could.
It's a
No,
Danny
I don't
Tanner
think they
moment.
attacked gambling on Full House, although they should have.
They should have.
But yeah, so it's like that. There's two parts to that. It's like,
See,
yes,
I
you
won't
want
have
them to
that
come-
problem because my kids are going to be leaders.
They're gonna be they're scared of you.
Yeah, but
They won't come to you.
leaders got into fucked up situations.
Obviously, everyone gets in
Yeah,
yeah,
like it's-
but all I'm saying is that there's two parts to this. It's one thing to want your kids to be able to come to you or anything, and it's another thing to be the kind of parent who's like, no, that every time your kid comes to you, you solve the problem and you get them out of the issue they're in.
I think it all depends on how they learn. If they see how you solve a problem, I also think that's a win because they can. Like
Yeah.
I am an audio learner, right? I hear things, and that's how I learn. So if I hear my dad talking, getting out of a problem, that's
Yeah.
how I'll learn how to get out of a fucking
For sure,
problem.
but
Right?
just saying you're not solving the problem for them.
No, but it's I think a little bit of column A and column B. If it's a massive fucking problem, yeah, I'll take that on.
Yeah.
So,
Right?
so the one thing's for sure, if you want for Asher to always feel like he can come to you for anything, talk to you about anything,
Yeah.
when it matters, when it's big,
Mm-hmm.
the most important thing, in my opinion, is to
Knows that.
is to always and throughout their whole life communicate and talk to them constantly about the small stuff that doesn't matter.
Exactly.
So like have the relationship with
That's
them
like that's your motto.
like the little shit
Don't
that
sweat
doesn't
the little shit.
yeah, the little shit that doesn't matter all day long. Be in their stuff because they want you to be in their stuff.
But so that's
and then it's not awkward for them to come to you to talk
Have
about
a
something.
conversation.
but
like
what's
that.
what's
Or
a little thing to
anything, right?
you might not be a little thing to them.
That's
though.
a very interesting thing as well. Yeah.
Right?
I
Because,
see
like,
that playing out all the time in my house.
when you can in your head be like, oh, you're making a mountain out of a molehill, but that molehill is a mountain to that kid.
So
that's something that you need to help deal with.
It's funny.
And show them why it's not a big deal. Not just ignoring telling them to go to the basement and you guys deal with it yourself. It's like, it's showing them why this isn't a big deal.
But here it is. Like, so between my kids, forget Evan because he's so little, but Max
forget
and Harlow.
you, Evan. That's
For
right.
now,
Your dad
for
wants
now.
you to forget you.
But like Harlow is so just like even keeled and like easygoing. Like if she
Where did that come from? That must have come from you.
I don't know. She hardly ever melts down. She just gets stuff and she deals with it, right? So like if it's like we get to the front door and I put in the code and she's like, I wanted to put in the code. I was like, next time. She'd be like, okay. And she'll go in, right? But if Max walked up to the door and I put in the code and he's like, I wanted to put in the code. I wanted to put in the code.
What's with these fucking codes? They want to do it.
Code.
Your kids do this
And
too?
I was like, Max, chill, dude. Like,
why are you giving kids codes?
You can put in the code, right? But for him, it was the biggest thing in the world, right?
Yeah.
That I'm just like,
That's a
chill,
big deal.
just chill. That's like, it's just a code. For him, it was the biggest thing in the world. So yeah, that's a good
But
point.
I think that at the end of the day, what you're essentially saying, to summarize this point that you want to give to your kids, is that you want your kids to know at the end of the day, regardless if you're solving the issue, you're not, you're giving them advice, whatever, they just want to know that they are being heard, that you're listening to them and not judging the situation of what it is.
You're probably judging.
You might be internally disappointed, whatever, and you can share that with them. I'm just saying, at the end of the day, is that if they like Schreiber said, if you constantly have these conversations with them, big or small, doesn't matter, just anything, and they see that you're engaged and see that you're listening and see that they can talk to you and people just want to be heard. Same with your wives. Sometimes they don't want you to solve the problem that they're complaining about their day. They want to just know that you're listening and you're hearing them. And the kids are the exact same.
That is one of my toughest interpersonal.
You're always trying to solve.
Things.
You're a problem solver?
It's very.
that can pass on
it's
to your
extremely
kids, too.
difficult for me to hear Christy complain about something
And not give your input.
Immediately offer my input and advice and try to solve a problem. And it's like sometimes I've seen it blow up in my face. It's like, I'm not trying to solve this problem.
Yeah, I just wanted to talk
I'd be
about
like,
it.
I don't understand.
So same
not
thing for your
computing.
kids. And as your kids get older and get more real problems, it's going to be the same thing. They just want to know that you can listen and not judge and just hear them out because they're going through something big or small.
You know, it's really funny. I find myself maybe like kind of like a little bit apropos this is that, I do all the drop offs and pickups now that Chrissy's back to work. So like I'm very in their life. And like sometimes I find myself
Daddy
just like
daycare.
knowing things about like them and their friends that just like Chrissy doesn't know yet, so I'll be like, oh, by the way, like did like Emerson, get her necklace back? And Chrissy's like, necklace back from where? I was like, Amelia borrowed Emerson's necklace.
Oh, so you're in on all the drama.
Yeah. Because I talk to Harlow all the time. She tells me everything.
Yeah,
I
'cause
know
you're
all her
spending more
friends.
time with them.
Yeah.
What grade's Harlow in now?
She's in SK.
SK.
Yeah.
Is that full day?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, till 2:30, and then she's got her
Toronto
after school.
Toronto schools end at 2:30.
Some of them,
But
most of
SK.
them early.
Yeah. The later grades end later.
So speaking of like knowing about their kids, friends and stuff, you one of the things that I can jump into my list soon because I love
How many
lists.
things are on your list?
What list are you talking about?
Like my list of like things that I'd like to instill in my kids over time and certain things. But in regards to kids, I think one of the higher top ones is like for them to, like us, because that's what we grew up with, develop a good core group of friends that I really like. Because I think that is something that, and I don't know how to teach my kids that, right? You just got to fucking roll the dice and pray. But I hope that for them so much because friends will influence their lives more than we will.
Yeah.
And so I really want them to fall into a good
true.
group of people.
And it's interesting too, because us growing up, our parents weren't friends with each other.
No.
Right? And we were best friends and still best friends today.
Yeah.
In my neighborhood,
Why?
Wait, so we would only be friends?
No, but I was going to say in my neighborhood friends, right? Like Harlow's best school friends
you're
is like a
saying-
group of like maybe
I see
like
what you're
call it
saying.
10 of them.
Yeah.
But we are now all friends, active, good friends.
You have a group chat?
Yeah, we have many
What's it
different
called?
group chats.
Trevor loves like
JSB,
He loves a group
building
dads.
friends.
Well, that's why
I
keep
love
telling
friends,
him why
but
he
it's my
should
neighborhood.
be-
We see them every day, twice a day. Sometimes.
Is that because you're lonely?
I don't even talk to the ones that I
Pick
see.
up, drop off?
See, that's what I'm
Like,
saying. He doesn't have headphones.
They're best friends. Like Harlow sleeping over at their houses and whatnot. Like
Oh, I've read stories. There's freaking shit that just happened at that sleepover with a
What
dad.
sleepover?
It was all over the news.
Sleepover?
That dad
Canadian
drugged
news?
the dad drugged the kids, his like daughter's friends, and
Dude, what kind of podcast is this?
That's a movie.
just the guy who gets like on the verge
What
of being
guy?
canceled.
Hold on. What guy? What happened?
There
Is
was
this in
a-
Canada?
No, it was in the States. There was he's a dad of like a 12-year-old. She
Yeah.
invited 2 of her friends to sleep over. He like drugged their drinks with benzos to make them sleepy. He kept like checking to find out if they were sleepy. One of them like texted her mom at like 3 a.m. being like, something's really off. I feel really weird. Come pick me up like right now.
Wow.
And he just got charged. Yeah.
And
it's
did he do
really-
anything to them?
No, he didn't get a chance to.
That's
'cause
terrifying.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
So like on that note, like,
I
are you
don't-
guys down with? Because I don't think you like sleepovers.
No.
For your kids
I like them if I know the parents well. Like I used to have sleepovers as a kid.
all the time.
All the time with
Like-
new people. Like I would sleep at like
New people?
No, I'm saying
New
like
people.
I'd be a friend. I'd like befriend Noam, and I'd sleep at Noam's house. My parents never met
slept
Noam's
at-
Yeah, but it
parents.
was different.
I
I
Little
slept at no
Jewish,
one's house.
like
I slept at like
neighborhood
Rona
world, man.
Wigowski's house. I slept at like people's house all the time.
You're a
new friends. I
sleepover
love
floozy.
sleepovers.
Yeah,
floozy.
I agree. I think I was on the sleepover side of things for sure.
Yeah, I like
Yeah,
sleepovers.
like
With many families where my parents never met them, now especially like my
I
daughters.
think
and
it's
stuff,
way different now.
maybe we're just more
Yeah.
aware, but my kids would not be having a random sleepover with anyone, especially at this point. But Joey and Sonny have both had sleepovers at
At your
houses
house or other houses?
others,
Yeah.
just one other, but like people that I know very well.
how
But
well.
do you ever know someone very,
Very
well?
well.
Like
No,
you
'cause
never
I'm saying
know.
like I'd be comfortable with her sleeping over at any one of the parents in this group.
Yeah, so like one of them, like Sonny's best friend is Riley, and Riley's mom is Melissa Maker, and
Okay.
we're very close with them, and we know
That's
her.
a
and
different
But
situation.
that's what I'm saying. So I
Yeah.
know the parents.
Yeah.
That's a different. That's
That's
a
a
situation.
situation.
do you like having people
The
sleep over
small
at your house?
situation, the big situation. That's the situation.
Would you rather be the sleepover host or sleepover?
Selfishly, I'd rather them sleep out because it's a nice little vacation. From a safety
It's not
perspective,
really when you have 3 kids though. It's just like
no,
just
but
down one.
it is.
But if
so
you
it's
have one- if you
down
have
one
one-
makes a difference. Me and
you have
Jamie
one kid.
constantly say that, like when like one of them's out, Joey's somewhere, and I take, let's say, Sonny and Alice out for food, the 4 of us. It's such a big difference. The dynamic
wait.
of the kids
Sure.
change.
Well, so just having one kid is a huge difference
Yeah.
for your sanity.
And then they're gonna depend on you because they have no siblings,
Yeah.
and
That's
be
fine.
like,
They'll have
Yeah.
imaginary
You're
friends.
gonna need your
Yeah,
the
that's what-
dragon. We know
That's
the
what
dragon. You want the
screams.
dragon?
Yeah, that's right. He doesn't listen to our podcast, so he doesn't know what
I've
we're
never
talking
had an
about.
imaginary friend.
You haven't had a real life one either. So
Zing! What am I doing here, son?
you're a paid guest.
Okay, so I'm gonna jump into some of my list.
Yeah,
Go
in your
for it.
list.
And
Yeah.
feel free to talk about how that would apply to you guys. Okay.
Go
great.
for it.
So one
It
thing
is.
I'd like to do, I guess this is a little bit based on like kind of what you said, but it's probably said in a better way instead of calling him like,
Most likely.
yeah. The ability to be, I guess it's kind of a combo. The ability to like, we talked about critical thinking and being able to deal with adversity. So situations like you're uncomfortable in the moment, be able to make the right decisions, which comes from the ability to develop their critical thinking, to think like, because I wasn't that great as a kid. Like I did stupid things that I'm like fuck,
what?
that's bad. I shouldn't have done
So
that
I feel like I critically thought all my bad shit.
beforehand. Like
Yeah,
premeditated,
premeditated. Like I'm
Everything
going
was
to do this.
premeditated.
Oh, I didn't. I was mostly like, whoa, what a fucking
How did I get
stupid
myself
move.
into
Like-
this?
Yeah,
like-
no, after, like,
like
oh
what?
my
No.
god.
Like
so
what?
like lots of things. Like
I
I
want
don't,
Can I give one example of like something I
go.
think about all the time?
Yeah,
And like,
yeah.
so
Is
I don't
this
know.
proper for
no, it's proper. It's
the
fine.
public?
Yeah. So we were like, probably like 16, 17.
Yeah, it's mostly
And when
from that
when I
time.
lived on Waterton.
Okay.
And my next door neighbor was a good friend of mine, and we smoked lots of weed together on the street. Not
Yeah.
next door neighbor, a couple of houses down, but we smoked
Okay.
lots of weed together.
I don't
And
need
that
to know
entire
the exact.
neighborhood was being developed,
Okay.
right? So during the winter, when it was cold, we would just go into like one of the houses that was being put up, not done yet, because
Yeah.
it would have the heating on, something, blah, but at least it's shelter from the wind, and we smoked in the house. One day we're walking into the house, and he's in front of me. Enter the house, boom, he falls through the floor.
I remember you told me that story a while ago.
Through the floor, out of reality for me. I was like, I look down.
and then you step like a lemming.
No,
Whoa, just fall
I
over.
look down, and he's down there. Somehow, nothing happened.
And did he miss like a fucking bar?
He
sticking out?
missed bars
Like
and
an
nails, and it was a construction zone.
Yeah, so like along those lines, you asked for an example from me, like
Wow.
when me, and I mentioned this on the podcast I think before, but me, Temmie, and Aaron Enright lit the backfield of York Hill on fire.
Yeah, I remember
Oh,
that.
I remember
Right?
that.
Like whole,
Did you
like
get caught?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got caught. And there was a slap on the wrist at most.
Yeah.
We were in grade
Yeah.
like
arson,
3 or 4 or
Yeah.
5.
Arson wasn't a big deal back
Wasn't a
then.
big deal back then. It
Yeah.
was like just
It was a
part of
nice-
the
that's
course.
okay.
It was like,
But we lit it on fire and took off. And again, the repercussions that could have come from that, forget about getting in trouble. What could have come from that
What could
could
have
have
Was
been
Australia.
devastating.
Yeah.
Like a giant fire, like that would have engulfed
All of Toronto.
Yeah.
25% of Thornhill.
But like, even
Stupid.
little stuff. Like, do you remember? And obviously we remember it was Jeremy's bike. It wasn't the only one that we would just take and throw off the bridge.
Yeah, we threw bikes
mentioned
off
that.
Bikes
I
off
don't
the bridges. We
remember
would
that.
just go to people that we knew had bikes, and we just thought it was the coolest and most fun thing to do to
So
throw
you
it
would
off the
steal
bridge
people's bikes and throw them off
and
bridges?
just take them to the bridge and throw them over the bridge and wait for the train to run it over.
And not that there was not that there was people down there, but like again,
There were
these
people
small
down there.
stupid decisions.
Could
And
kill
so
someone.
tying it back into that whole thing, it's like critical thinking
Yeah.
and adversity and making right choices in the moment. These small decisions can change the course of any of our kids'
Yeah,
lives
yeah,
forever. Like I've seen, like again, along the bike part, there was
Yeah.
a news story that not so long ago where like these kids were throwing shit off a fucking bridge, but it happened to be like over a hiking or overpass like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
And they dropped a rock on some girl's head and murdered her.
Yeah.
Right?
Wow.
But I think that was
it's-
intentional.
no, it wasn't intentional. They weren't trying to kill someone.
How do you know?
Because I know. 'cause
Jamie?
they were,
We need a Jamie.
because they weren't. Look it up. No, they
Jamie.
weren't trying to kill someone.
I'll be the
Blah, blah,
Jamie.
blah, blah, blah. You know, the charges reflected that, but their lives are
only,
changed
like,
forever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. It's
I remember.
that's it.
I remember when me and Jeremy tried to steal a pair. I thought I had the best plan when I worked at Sports Check.
Yeah.
To steal a pair of shoes.
Yeah.
So I simply decided I'm going to take the pair of shoes. I'm
Trade
gonna,
your shoes that you're wearing.
no, I'm just going to take the pair of shoes, like the shoes in the box, and I'm going to put them in a bag, and I'm going to give the bag to Jeremy, and Jeremy's going to walk out. So I did that. And, Jeremy goes towards the door. and
2
walks
seconds later.
towards the door to walk out, and I go and I finish my shift, and that's it. And I finished my shift.
there was one of our friends that
And so what
tried
happened?
to use.
You interjected. So
Oh, sorry, I thought you were done there.
No, so after the shift, Jeremy's just like, so how was the rest of your shift? And I was like, good. How are the shoes? He's like, I don't have the shoes. I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, you don't know? I was like, no. Like, they let you finish the shift without the shoes? Like, they finish the shift despite the shoes? I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. He's like, you'll find out. Next morning, I get a call from the manager. The manager calls me in. Hey, we need to come in and talk to you about something.
Uh-oh. You
Come
knew what it
in.
was
I go
about.
to the manager's office, like above the store. This is the Promenade Mall.
I just wouldn't have gone in again. It's over.
He's like, yesterday, we had a problem with somebody stealing a pair of shoes.
Come on, you sit down for a second, Daniel.
And I was like, oh, what was the
Come take a
problem?
seat.
And he's like,
Were
well,
you scared at this point?
no,
Because of your age?
I'm cool as a fucking
He
cucumber. I
doesn't
don't
have
care.
emotions.
Yeah,
Was he
I was like-
scared?
I was like, well, I was
Hoping
like,
for a glimmer.
I was like, what was the problem? What was the problem yesterday? He's like, well, you gave your shoes to your friend to steal, and I was like,
No.
I was like, who? He's like,
I did it with a lot of my friends
he's
yesterday.
like, he's like your friend from yesterday. I was like, oh, but he didn't steal the shoes. He's like, what do you mean? I was like, the shoe stayed in the store, right?
Smart Alec.
And he's like, well, yeah. And I was like, so there's no crime actually. And he's like, well, like there was attempted theft. I was like, okay, well, like, what do you want to do?
Prove it.
And he's just like, I want you to call your friend Jeremy. No, I want you to give me your friend's contact right now. And I was like, I'm not giving you my friend's
But
contact.
didn't
I
they
ain't no
stop them? How
snitch.
does he know about this? This story doesn't add up.
What?
Jeremy knew about the situation.
he got caught.
So he
He
got
got
caught.
caught.
So why didn't they get that contact information?
And why
at that
didn't they call the
moment?
police?
Because of how he got caught. So the person walks. So I was going to say it at the end, but the person walked up to him and he's like, "Hey, can I see the receipt for the shoes that are in that bag?" And
just
Jeremy just
ran.
dropped the shoes and boom,
Oh,
left the
okay.
store. Right.
So they didn't call mall security or anything?
Anyway, long story short, he's like,
But how do they know he's connected to you?
because they saw me do it. They have cameras. I wasn't
Oh, got
hiding
it.
it or anything. I was like, here, Jeremy, here's the bag.
There's some
There's
holes.
in the sporting life bag.
in the
like,
life bag, like as if he
Sport
bought it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's like, give me the contact. I was like, I'm not giving my friend's contact.
I ain't no snitch.
I know snitch. I know my
and there's
friend's
no
contact.
cell phones at that point. I don't
So
think.
he's
Maybe
like
a
he's
Nokia.
like
Betty picks up the phone.
call him right now. Call him right.
Fuck did you say about my son?
Call him right now and tell him that he's banned from all sports checks for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. So I called and I just like smashed the keypad and it was like, please hang up and try your call again. And I was like, hey buddy, you're
Banned.
you're banned.
Like and meanwhile, this guy,
Yeah.
like when looking back, it was like a 24-year-old part-time manager who
fully.
has zero power, and zero
100%,
control.
100%. So I was fired, and I was subsequently also banned from all sports checks for the rest
Have
of my
you gone
life.
back in?
Funny enough, like maybe like 5 years later, I go into the sports check at Eaton Center, and I walk in and just hunched over merchandising, so his back is to me, is this manager, and I know it was him because of his build and his like beaked head or
Yeah,
bicked head. Bicked head, like
He was
bald,
bald.
and
Okay.
bicked,
Like
yeah.
Vin Diesel?
So I just turned around and walked out. I
Vin
don't want
Diesel.
anything to do with that. Sports check's not that important to me.
No, and,
I
and since
did- I
then, Sport
did
Check's kind
order-
of gone under, so maybe you
I
were the
did
reason.
order a hat from Sports Check this winter.
Why
like a
do you keep
toque.
mentioning them? They got to pay the big fucking bucks.
Check sports.
There it is.
A sports store with a check mark.
Anyways, that's my story.
Okay,
So-
so there we go.
So fun times, right? All's well that ends well.
So what,
90s
Paul?
dad
But that
trivia
could have derailed,
I got a
right?
question for you.
Whose dad worked in a sporting goods store?
In a sporting goods store or a sporting outdoor sports store?
Like between the three of us or
So
growing up?
You need to clarify.
There's two, there's actually because there's two dads then.
Okay,
An
so
outdoor sporting. I know who you're gonna say.
yeah, so that was Alan Matthews.
What was the store
outdoor
called?
Sport. Well, it was the name of the owners who owned it before.
Yeah,
I can't remember the name.
I don't
remember?
No,
From Boy Meets World.
Yeah.
Boy Meets World, yeah.
Yeah.
But what do you the sport? Which other?
Tim Bundy actually worked at a sporting.
Can you just imagine being able to support a household off of working
before
for
women's shoes?
Yeah,
What?
supporting a household off of working of an income from a sporting goods store?
he
Dude,
owned
the
it.
80s, you can fucking like sell
You can
hot
get hot
dogs
dogs
and
and
live in a
like-
mansion.
Didn't like Corey Matthews go to like Yale too? Like where did they
Yes,
go to?
he did.
Or USC or something? Like
It was a
major-
uniformed one, yeah.
It's anyways.
No, it wasn't. Corey Matthews didn't go to anything. But yes, everything was very expensive. And she was a part-time real estate agent. And he was eventually the owner. But at the time when the show
Manager,
started, he
yeah.
was a manager of a grocery store.
She was a real estate agent.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's a
It
great
happened in like
show.
one episode.
It's a fantastic.
Okay,
show.
next point of so the good points. I think that the reality is that that's important to me because fuck, those little decisions can change your life. So
Yeah.
how do you get that across?
Massive.
But I think
Right.
that also loops back to your other point. Is
You
like
gotta let them find their way.
That too, but like
Yeah.
those bad decisions. If you have a core group of
You
friends
just
that you
fucking
can
talk. No one's
trust,
even listening to you.
right?
You just fucking talk. No one's listening to what you're saying.
I'm listening to it.
Yeah, a core group of friends that you can trust.
That you can do
My
the stupid
mom
shit
didn't
with.
trust you at all. Like, yeah, like you. Like, it's funny. Like, I have such great friends that are actually great people. But if you look back at our history, it's like, why the fuck were you with Schreiber, Josh, Temmie?
No, I was
people
the
burning
normal one.
fields and shit. Like, we were doing such horrible things. But yeah, these are good friends.
Good grades.
I
guys.
was the ambitious one.
Here's another one I think is important. You were the ambitious one.
I was.
What are you ambitious for?
I always like knew that we'd do something special.
Okay.
I
Real estate
wasn't
agent.
I wasn't lighting fires.
Be a real estate
I
agent.
own a brokerage. I have a team.
I just want to
Now you
change
do, and
lives.
we're very proud of you for that.
There we go.
Yeah.
Change lives.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
It's like that Seinfeld episode, just side tangent, when she's like, yeah, she's a doctor. And she's like, I just want to change lives and save people. And he finds out she's a dermatologist. He's like, you're a pimple popper. And then she's like, no, skin cancer. He's like,
Didn't they do-
skin cancer.
Didn't they also have a dentist? The whole feud with dentists.
Yeah, all the dentist things.
Anti-dentite.
Anti-dentite.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's another one.
Go.
I think the other part, again, hand in hand, because it all comes back to decision making in my
So
mind.
all your list is decision
Well, no,
making.
it comes back to
Just-
that. I think that is so important because I also taught this when I ran Grow, and I think it's such an important trait for people in general.
It's okay. You can tell us.
Okay, how do you teach? And I know how because I've done it, but it's how do you teach on an ongoing basis? Empathy. I think empathy with kids.
Interesting.
Because I think that like an empathetic person
He's still waiting to learn.
is, and yeah,
I was
Trevor's
going to say
not-
that's lower than it should be on my list of priorities for characteristics.
that's not surprising.
That's definitely not surprising.
It's not
like
surprising.
if you fall asleep and we hold a mirror over your mouth, like is there oxygen coming out? Like
It's
It's
vampires.
not on the list, but it's not high up on the list.
I get it, and I think that if you look at it from a surface perspective, like it may not sound it, but I think that being an empathetic person touches so many other points in
For
your life in
sure.
regards to your business, your relationships, your ability to be happy, your ability to make connections with other people, and a husband, a wife. Everything kind of stems from the ability to be empathetic and being able to put yourself in someone's shoes.
Yeah.
I think that just is like such a core thing that ripples throughout your whole life. Just because experience I've seen of people who aren't empathetic and people who are.
well, you
I
said
find
Joey,
the empathetic conversation to be extremely nuanced because
Sure.
there's like,
I think it's pretty black and white, but go ahead.
well, that's exactly so being black and white, like there's things that you can be empathetic towards, but there's also like a degree of empathy
Where it gets
at
too
which
much.
At which
But I think
point-
you're confusing empathy and sympathy. There's difference.
No, I'm not. So I'll give you an example.
No, you are.
No, I'm not. So no, I'm not. So me and Chrissy were driving,
Yeah.
and she was like, she was like, how terrible with all the homelessness in the city.
Yeah.
And she's just like, I just empathize with them so much because like at the end of the day, some of them
no.
like don't want to be there or like, like circumstances.
I
and
think
this and
she's
that.
using the word empathy wrong though. I think she sympathizes.
No, that's empathy. She has empathy for them. No.
She has
ahead.
sympathy for them.
Go ahead.
Carson's
She
right.
feels bad for
I-
them.
Yeah,
I-
sympathy
yeah.
is when you have done it yourself before, so you can relate directly. Empathy
not
is when
always.
you
Yeah,
haven't.
yes, that's definitely part of it. But go ahead.
Yeah.
Anyway, but I didn't get into it with her, but like, that's like a level of empathy that I don't have, because for me, like, the city should be clean. And if like these people who don't have the opportunities want to live somewhere, or because they need to live somewhere, there should be accommodations and not on the streets.
Yeah,
Right.
But
So
that's
like,
not
there's-
their fault. That's the city's fault.
But it's
then.
also,
Yes, but
then the shelter systems are horrible as well.
Right. So like when it comes to like feeling bad, it's like feeling bad, but feeling bad for something that's making my life worse off doesn't make sense to me. It feels like a
yeah.
counters.
So like that's the lack of empathy.
Yeah. So, but there's definitely like empathy for the situation that got them in there. But also it's like, okay, but I don't, your situation.
I'm not saying you need to stop, drop, and fucking change the world. What I'm saying is just like understanding that.
Yeah. Okay.
And again,
Where
it's
did-
more nuance in the empathy world of like just being able to understand other people's feelings. In other words, like a person who's completely void of empathy is typically like a serial killer, right? Like,
Well, that's
it's
a sociopathic.
it's a sociopathic
trait.
opposite end of
Trait,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's a trait. So the reality is empathy is someone. I'm not saying someone who's just crying over every issue in the world that we
Yeah.
can't change, but just having the ability to do it, like we did today, right?
Yeah.
Like
Exactly.
right.
Yeah,
being able to put it,
I
it's
hear what
so-
you're saying.
It's
Yeah.
that stuff.
Where
'cause
did
it's
Joey
so
get it?
valuable.
And that was
Where does
premeditated.
Joey-
We talked about it.
Yeah.
Where does Joey get it from? Because you said
Her
she's
empathy- yeah,
she's a very. Where did she learn it from? Where
I
did
don't
that?
know if
It's
to be
nature,
honest,
man. That's Max.
I think it's nature.
Yeah?
I think a big part
Nature
of
versus
empathy, and
nurture?
that's why I came to the struggle of like, how do you teach that? And you can't teach it, but I think that a lot of it is the nature of the kind of personality you are, which is why, like, again, a person from an extreme perspective, a serial killer clearly has different parts of their brain that are either missing or not active and not firing. Like they all have very similar like brain structure.
Chemistry.
They're missing like the
chemistry.
medulla oblongata going off.
Something's
or
wrong
whatever.
with your medulla oblongata.
Exactly. So I think a part of it is completely like biological.
So here's the interesting thing. Again, let's tie it back to our kids because dad podcast.
Dad
when it
podcast.
comes, I don't know if it's empathy or feelings, but like because I'm like bad with that topic. But when Max has empathy for everything, he gets everybody's feelings. Like and you get it all the time, and he needs to give you his love all the time, right? He doesn't want yours. He just needs to give his. Harlow's like pretty, like I said, even keeled, but she'll react on the big things that matter. Like, so she gets it, but she doesn't let it get her like how it gets Max all the time, right?
Do you think
Like,
that's a product of their gender? at all?
I don't know, man.
Or their
Like,
age?
age,
Well, it's-
personality,
yeah. Their personality.
like yeah.
It's all of the above.
I always say
Were you different from your siblings?
Me?
Because
Yeah,
it's
1000%.
It's a good example, right? Because we're talking about
1000%.
teachable moments and the ability to
that's an
instill
interesting
things.
question. I never
Yeah,
thought
like
about
How
that.
different
Yeah.
are we from our siblings?
We're polar
'Cause
opposite.
Same roof,
Oh,
right?
both of them polar opposites.
We're like
You have three, so who's in the middle?
no,
of
I'm
the
saying we're
opposites?
all like we're all different.
You're all
from each other.
different.
Yeah,
We're all different from each
Yeah.
other. 100%.
And you, Shira?
I would say
There's
that
such an
I
age gap with
have
him, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
massive age
But
gap.
now you're all adults, so personality-wise,
Yeah.
are you?
I think
Similar?
that if anything, I have a personality more like my middle sister,
Yeah.
but I maybe like
That's because you're closest. in
yeah,
age.
I don't know. Like it's hard because they're so close in age and I'm so far from both of them.
And that plays a role
What's the
too. So it's
gap?
the same roof, same
I
parents,
think
but
it's
like
10 and 12.
That's actually like I guess that's
Pretty
That's a
big.
big gap with siblings. Yeah,
pretty big.
It's
gap.
generational almost. Like
It is
they're
gen- not almost,
they're
it's a
early
different
Xers.
generation.
They're early Xers.
It's a
Different
decade.
decade.
Yeah.
It's decades, man.
Okay, so here's one that's less about
Hold
like.
on, what about you and your sister? What do you think?
I think we're
You're
very,
very similar.
different and
Really?
very similar. Like we
What do you think of Abby?
we react to things very differently. We are both sensitive, but I'm way more like go with the flow, ability to adapt, that kind of stuff.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. Like
That's
I'm
how
very
you- that's how you
I'm
see yourself?
independent. I'm able to live on my own. My sister's very like attached and connected to the
She has
family, and
attachment
she
issues.
needs she just needs like
Out of all my friends,
Yeah.
I remember you and your sister having the craziest screaming matches growing
and if you
up.
ask my mom,
Don't
we
you
were
remember,
perfect.
like-
We never
No,
fought.
no,
No, that's like revisionist
nuclear
history.
meltdown, screaming. I don't even have like a close second to
Yeah,
think about.
and it's funny. I don't even have that memory.
But it wasn't
I
like
don't-
terrible
I don't
language.
remember this.
Where like remember Matt? Well, I'm gonna mention a name like Matthew
Go.
Moses.
Yeah.
growing up. At his house, he'd be like, "Fuck you, mom!" Like, what the fuck? This fucking meatloaf is fucking cold. This
Perfect.
fucking cunt. I was like, "Oh my goodness, this
So
is
perfect. So that's again just to like because we're talking about this too long. Sorry.
Empty.
Okay. Is that's another important one. I was gonna do a different one, but you
Not
brought her into
cussing?
it. No fucking respect, man.
Oh,
respect
man.
is huge.
respect
time.
and earned respect.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
Sure.
I'm not saying I'm your parent. Respect
No, but like to like
me.
Yeah.
to like people at restaurants, waiters, like
How you talk to everyone
Everyone.
around
Yeah.
you, how you talk to
Yeah.
your spouse
Dude,
in front of them,
it's-
how you talk to them.
Yeah.
And I'm not always the best. I'm not preaching because I'm not perfect at all.
You have a tough time
But
with
I'm
that.
aware of it and I like to be better at it.
Yeah.
And I think that my kids being disrespectful to me when I show them the care and the love and the concern later on in life to do that to my parents, I will not fucking stand for that. I
No.
don't give a shit. Like
Yeah.
they will not get it because you let it slide and that becomes the personality
sure.
of the
Chrissy,
family.
Chrissy has like recently started to lay down the law on like those specific things, but
Yeah.
not in the swearing or like
Yeah,
that
yeah, but there's,
department,
like,
but like
tidbits of
yeah,
things
exactly.
happening.
Yeah, like you know what's a big one in our house?
Yeah. I mean, no.
No.
Tell me.
Yes, I do actually.
I watch the cameras.
I'd be like, Harlow, can you come here for a second? Harlow, can you come here?
Oh, the
She just
ignoring.
ignores you.
Harlow, can you come here? Fine. No, it's not fine. It's okay, mommy.
Yeah.
I'm coming.
Yeah.
And then she's like, okay, mommy, I'm coming.
Yeah.
And like the other kids hear that as well. And,
And
it's
then
like
they
every time.
mimic it.
It's every
Into the
time, every time.
basement.
It's
It's like, get dressed. Fine. It's not fine. It's okay, mommy.
Yeah.
Or like, but like they'll do to me and I'll let it slide because I'm cool, dad.
You're cool,
and,
dad.
and so she'll correct them on my behalf too. She'll be like, no, it's okay, daddy.
I think like something really important is how you talk to your spouse, and that's something like I don't want to be fighting in front of the kid at all.
Yeah.
And,
like,
it will
ever-
happen.
It'll happen,
for
But-
sure.
But,
no,
but be
and it's
aware of
treat-
it.
But I feel like, well, especially because I have a boy, like showing him how to properly respect and talk
Absolutely.
to a female is
Oh,
so
yeah. And
is
we
so,
spoke about that multiple times
Yeah.
on this.
so
like,
important.
But I'll tell
And
you, there's a flip side to that coin. Me and Chrissy talk about it too. Like her background.
Sometimes I need to hear you
Yeah.
belittle your mom.
No, but like I'm very
I'll clip your
fiery.
head.
For me, everything's on the table. Like I don't really like, you know, like I don't mind the kids seeing me get emotional about something.
Oh yeah.
Well, that
because
comes
I don't
to-
ever think I've seen like saw my dad cry, right?
No, whether
And
it's
just
cry or
like
whether it's yell,
Yeah.
not like at anybody, of course, but like
Well, that's, I mean, again, if it's done in a respectful way,
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
that's another lesson
I
you
always
want your kids to
cry.
learn is conflict resolution. So they don't want you to just, I don't want to be in a family where they just think everything's perfect all the time. And then they have this like idea of what adulthood's like.
Yeah.
Seeing like real issues. And again, not putting your baggage on them, but seeing issues that they can be a part
Sure.
of and seeing how you resolve those in a respectful
Yeah.
way. And not about not getting emotional,
Yeah.
but being respectful, hopefully.
yeah.
That's not bad.
I found recently that I'm using a tactic where I'd be like,
It's not
"God-"
the IDF, man. You don't need to.
No, I'd be like,
I
guys.
just introduced waterboarding to
No,
my family.
I'd be like, guys, listen, if we keep doing this, I'm going to get really frustrated.
Yeah.
And I think that they understand the
start counting
word
down?
and they have a reference to like my being frustrated.
Yeah.
And it usually
They know the
No,
nuclear
they're like,
bomb
oh
that's about
no,
to go
this is
off.
not. Yeah, okay, Dad's gonna get frustrated.
He's hulking out. He's hulking out.
Somebody get him something to eat, some hummus, some
I
pita,
was just gonna
something.
say, get him
a Snickers.
stat.
So yeah, that's all important. But what I was going to say before that, and this is one thing that I feel like I lacked, getting from an adult figure from school for sure, which I know that's changing. But like one thing I'd love for my kids to learn at a young age, and I may not be the best person to teach them,
Finances?
financial literacy.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was
Right,
gonna
like
say,
I didn't
absolutely.
know anything about
Yeah.
that. Some schools are starting
We
to
were
adapt
so
it,
dumb.
but like I had no idea how my parents paid for things, what things cost, how to budget.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'd like to just like my kids when it's appropriate to learn. Like, oh, there's a mortgage.
This is how
oh,
much
there's
it
interest.
cost me.
Oh, there's these things. How do you instill these little tidbits?
is
So
This
yeah,
is how you pay
you know what I
taxes.
started
Yeah.
doing? Every time I'll get Harlow's lunch, she'll bring her box in at the end of the day.
Oh, and you see what's
Yeah,
left.
and I'll open it up and like I'll see what's left. And if
You
there's a
charge them.
half-eaten bar, I'd be like, Harlow, you didn't finish this bar. I'd be like,
42
no, I was like,
cents. You have like a
no,
little
I was
fucking,
like,
like,
do you want to finish it
Better's
now?
book?
She's like, no, you can throw it in the garbage. I'd be like, can you go get me your piggy bank, please? She's like, why? I was like, I need to take some money out of it. Now she doesn't know like how to count money.
Yes.
She calls it monies.
Yes.
So it doesn't matter what coin I take.
You get to get a penny.
Yeah, exactly. So like
It's
she
like,
goes,
here's
she gets me
100.
pretty. I was like, this costs this much monies, and because we have to throw it in the garbage, I have to take your monies. And she's, but the thing is like I feel like that will
she
affect
connects
Max.
it, though?
Harlow doesn't give a shit. She's like, okay, take my monies. Like for her,
I got plenty more monies.
It's literally, she lives like
So many
Yeah,
monies.
but
She's been
I
stealing
feel like
from your
when,
piggy bank
when
for
Max
years.
is her age and I will do that to Max, he'd be like, okay, I understand. This costs money. How do we make money? Dad, like he'll be like, I'm in this. Harlow's like, fuck money. I don't care.
Has she tried to make money yet? Like, has she like
Hitting the
stand,
streets?
like
Yeah,
a, like a
no, I
lemonade,
haven't sent her out on the street.
like a lemonade stand or
Yes. So
No, Shriver lives in a rough neighborhood. They can't just open a lemonade
no,
stands
but
on the road.
we've done the pay.
neighborhood.
We've done the pay her for.
Does she have
Again,
an
she doesn't
allowance?
understand money.
does she have an allowance?
No, she's fine.
No, she's not doing
I
it.
keep thinking your kid's like
about?
10.
No, she's
Why?
younger than Sunny.
Wow, that's wild.
Dude, they're all so little.
Yeah, it took him a little while to get it going.
Yeah,
It's a
and
little
then-
while.
yeah.
I had 2 kids before, right? The first one on board.
How did that make you feel?
It's so funny.
How did it make me feel?
Shiver doesn't like to be asked how he's feel.
Yeah.
But it's so funny. I've tried that kind of stuff with Joey, but because she has more money than me, she's like, I got plenty more. She has a piggy bank where she puts like quarters in. She's like, I don't give a shit. I got $43,000 in the bank. I gotta fucking buy and sell you.
She doesn't.
If I don't want to finish my carrot sticks, I'm not fucking finishing my carrot sticks. And I'm like, shit, she's right. Can I borrow $12, Joey?
I need to buy more carrots.
I'm out of carrot sticks. And she's so aware of it. She doesn't know the value of what's
she
worth
doesn't
what.
know. She doesn't know how much money she has.
She has no idea how much she has and what the value is because she gets excited. She got in trouble at school for like fighting over a quarter. I'm like, Joey, leave it alone. You literally have like 800,000 of those quarters at home somewhere. So yeah, the money thing
And
doesn't
it's
work.
gone.
I'm doing like mental math here. I'm like, how much money does Joey have?
Yeah, well, listen, and she might be getting another paycheck soon.
I thought she booked that thing, didn't she?
I mean, when I say soon, we don't know when it's going to film. So
Oh,
it
gotcha.
just depends on when it happens. But
Yeah.
yes, okay. So those are some of my. And you guys have any more? I have more on my list, but
I think
doing them all.
respect is like talking to people so huge. Like not feeling like anyone's under you is like such a big fucking thing.
Yes.
Going into a restaurant and being polite, which I don't think this guy's the best fucking.
I have my
we
moments.
We can have a
Yes.
podcast. But
I
you
have
know
my
what? I've
moments.
been with Schreiber now in a professional
Is he a
business
changed man?
environment
And he's a changed
over the
man.
last
well,
2 years.
business Schreiber is very different than
No,
you got my
but
order.
no,
whatever
I
no,
have
it is.
deep down personal issues that
He's
sometimes
grown.
flare.
He's grown.
It's fine.
They
Listen,
flare.
we love you for who you are. That's
thank you for
Schreiber's
that.
anger is like eczema. Occasionally it flares up. Like,
Yeah.
and you got to
like
just treat it.
I'm like the sun. I shine bright and occasionally I flare up.
Listen, you just shoot for the moon because you'll
Analogies.
always land on the stars, man.
Exactly.
No, it's the
whatever you
other
wanna
way.
do.
Shoot for the stars because you land on the moon.
Yeah.
What's higher?
Stars are
The
further
stars
than
are
the moon.
further than the moon, dude.
So another thing I want my kids to do is good education.
yeah. Yes.
That would be
Don't get
nice.
into real
Don't be
estate.
like
Although
Uncle
I said,
Paul.
I don't know, Paul. Let's hear because Paul's Jessica, his wife.
Yeah.
She has a very strong opinion at this point on,
She does.
on college and university.
Yeah.
What's your opinion? I put
Well,
mine out
opinion
there.
for what?
Or we're talking about education.
Do you
now.
want your kids to go to the university?
Not want your
and be
kids, but what
smart
are your thoughts on your kids deciding on going to university or
and
not?
like learn how to read good?
Well, it's elementary school.
I don't know. Like I
some.
haven't given. I think that's a very specific question for like a way later time. Like I don't.
For sure. Assuming that the world doesn't change, whatever. Given today's state and environment,
Yeah.
if your kid was in a university
going, you
age
got a
and
gun
it's
to
like,
your
hey,
head.
university is not for me. My parents would be like, there was no other option but university for me. There was no choices.
I have
what
to
are
say,
your stance on that?
Again, I'm an entrepreneur. So it's like, you don't want to, my best friend never went to university and has a $50 million company.
Yeah.
So
So then
Great.
you're, as long as they're doing something productive.
yeah.
And they're doing something.
Yeah.
In other words, if you're not going to school,
How does
you're
Chris-
doing something. It's
but-
not just chill for the next 4 years.
But then how does Chrissy?
Why
how
4
does
years?
Chrissy,
Where's that number come from? The length of
That's
school?
what's
Yeah, the length of an
That's what
undergrad.
we're talking about.
But I'm saying, like, if they're not going to school, there's no length. You're doing something because
That's what I'm
That's-
saying.
Yeah, yeah,
so
yeah,
while all their peers they went to high school, whatever, elementary school, high school with, they're now going for 4 years. Some people might just travel for
Yeah,
whatever.
I see what
if
you're
they
saying.
could do that and like that, like again, I'm not against that. Like with
Yeah.
whatever they want to do. I don't.
I'm mixed,
like
but
yeah,
they have to have a plan. That
yeah,
you-
they have to have some sort of
How
plan.
does
They have to have a
Chrissy?
vision.
How does Chrissy feel about that? Have
I've
you
never
guys-
had that conversation with
Do
Chrissy.
you
It's
feel
early.
like she would want them to go to like at that?
I would want them to go to university. You can't force somebody to go to university. You can't be mad at them.
Well, that's what
it's
we're-
funny because
yeah.
like again, my whole thought now is that I always get obsessed with touching this.
Yeah, Nick
my whole
Cage,
thought
you
now
just
is that
touch
like
'em.
I'm more, and again, depending on where they want, their interests, their likes, or blah, 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 their affinity to business and work and life, I am a little bit more against university now than I would be. Like I would love them to go. I think
You
that they
just
can.
don't want that. You just don't
I
want to
think
pay
that they
for
could
it.
probably go
You don't
further.
want to pay for it. Admit
No,
it.
my parents didn't pay for my school,
I am aware.
so like
But the thing
I'm not
is,
paying for theirs. So
it's they're so adult when they make that decision. Like if,
yeah, it's not up to you. I'm just saying, like, I am not you need to go. But if they don't go, I'll understand. It's more
Well,
like,
you need to go if you want to do certain things.
sure.
You want to
Right?
be a doctor, you got to go to school. You want to be a
Yeah.
lawyer, you got to
No,
go to
there's
school.
YouTube videos on how to become a
That's
doctor.
so true.
now.
Dr. Mike.
Yeah, you're
You
good.
know,
Yeah, like I
Just
remember in
be handsome.
school, I would go and sit on classes that weren't mine because they interested me.
How about for you then? So for me, I wish at this point that I didn't go to university based on the career path
you
I've
just-
chosen.
oh.
I would have loved to have been 4 years.
I thought you meant just
ahead-
stay
no,
with the
4
band.
years further into the entrepreneurial life than when I started.
So,
Yeah.
But you started in school.
So this is exactly. I agree with you. Like if I had I not have gone to school, I would have just started my entrepreneurial
What did you go to
life
school
then.
for?
Journey early.
But I did that in school.
Yeah.
What did you go to school for?
I went for economics.
Sociology.
No,
And then-
but he started a company. You started that like party company.
That's what we're saying.
That's
So
what I'm
he got his
I got
entrepreneurial
that
start
itch
in
scratched,
school.
right?
But do you feel like that came from? Where did that come from?
Oh, it came from pure like
His dad.
no, but it was very planned. So like I was at my buddy's house. I got accepted to Laurier. He got accepted to Waterloo.
Yes.
And
Well, I'm not talking about how the company came to be.
Oh,
like
so what do you-
your entrepreneurial like spirit.
oh,
like,
my dad, like it's like
He was a candle man.
It's not a candle man. Like growing up, he owned his own accounting firm, and just like you have to
Your dad
have.
was an accountant.
Yeah, that's his trade.
Oh, I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, I thought he just liked candles.
No.
When he came to this country, you couldn't
With
be an
only two
accountant.
he only had two candles in his pocket.
I honestly feel like it's. I hate to say it, but I feel like it's entrepreneurialism in a way. And I'm from Israel, right? It's instilled in Judaism, in
It is.
being Israeli, for obvious reasons,
Yeah,
right? Nobody hires you, so you have to do it yourself.
sure.
You're
Sure.
so uncomfortable about
Yeah,
this
we
with your
don't-
1,700 followers. It's unbelievable.
It's just no. It's not. We don't talk about that stuff on here.
It's not
Why?
political. It's just
No,
where
it's-
he's from.
It's my viewpoint, right? So we're talking about like entrepreneurialism
Yeah,
and whether I'd go to university,
yeah,
and that's where it comes from.
yeah.
It's in his DNA.
That's where it comes from.
That's where it came from.
Yeah.
All right.
I think ultimately,
I'm just like I just got to start editing stuff out. It's fun.
it's all good, man. Got to be true to yourself. Being true to themselves.
Being
That's
true
a
to
good one.
themselves.
that would be a good
Yeah.
one.
That's a
to
good
think.
one.
Be who you are.
Yet at the same time,
don't be
lie to yourself
ashamed.
all the time.
Don't lie to yourself.
yeah. Convince yourself that you are who you are.
Yeah.
But in deep inside,
Fake it till
know
you
that you're
make
not.
it.
You know what? At the end of the day,
that does
it is?
work for a lot of people.
It's true.
really
well,
does.
that's it's
It
called.
usually
They
works.
call that. You know what they call it? They call it manifesting.
Yeah.
Believe in what you want
Yeah.
to become, and then you're essentially going
That's
to become
it.
it.
That's it.
But the real one, my cap, my
One
end cap
right,
on this,
tell
and I
them
had 25, so I'm shortening
you
for
did.
this.
This is what I'm saying. You took time to do
I have
25.
OCD, but
Can
I
I see
didn't
the list
shower.
real
But
quick?
you
Let me
should
see
have
the list.
fucking shower.
I want to talk about one. I want to talk about one on your list.
Okay, fine. So what I'll do is I'll let you read it. Don't read my last one because my end cap is my last
Okay.
one.
I won't read the last
But
one.
I have 20 in here.
Okay.
That's plenty of time to shower.
See what we got here.
I mean, I didn't just write all the things. I also search things up and
So
see
you
what
took
aligned with
even
me.
more. You took even more time.
Yeah, because I was working. I was on my computer. I was on my
You
computer.
need a
Here's
shower
something
computer
that I can't
kids.
pass on.
Stop all the
that
downloading.
you can pass on. Or
Cannot
can't?
pass on.
Go ahead.
And Chrissy can that she runs.
Oh, this is
department
something
in
that
the
you wouldn't
house.
be able to give. To
No,
your-
I
okay.
have nothing to give in this department.
Okay.
The joy of giving.
You don't like giving? I love.
I'll
buying
tell you
gifts.
this.
I don't really
I
get
love
it.
buying gifts for people.
Well, it's
I
now
find it
scientifically.
I find it stressful, and
Sure,
I find it
the-
materialistic.
but if you know what
because
it's-
the love and the time that you
Who
spend
said
together.
giving? Does it say giving gifts?
No, and then the other stuff is like.
Giving of
Yeah.
yourself, of your time, of your abilities.
Oh,
of
I
your
didn't read
skill
past
sets.
the joy of giving. I just read that.
No, that's you didn't have to
Attention
read.
span.
It ends there.
He wants
Oh,
to.
But
yeah, that's also Chrissy's department.
no,
Yeah.
but my whole she's in charge of the gifts. No, that's not what I'm.
No,
my point
demonstrating the fulfillment that comes from helping others and contributing to the community. That's Chrissy's department.
is. Yes,
Of
but,
like to lead the family in
but
that
that's
effort.
whatever umbrella. But what I'm saying is that it's scientifically proven that your endorphins and the things that in your body go off more is when you give someone something, you feel scientifically better than when you receive something. And you don't because your chemicals are all off inside you.
Yeah.
But that's
No,
like
no,
most
I don't. I also
humans-
don't like receiving things too much. In that
I don't
same
love receiving
token.
things either, to be honest. I'm sometimes uncomfortable with it.
When I thought it was about a gift, that's two ways. I don't care for gifting too much.
I'm
but
a
when it comes
bad
to like
gift
giving
receiver.
to like the community and stuff, that's not within my wheelhouse that I would like do first. But like Chrissy leads that department at home.
but you do it in other ways.
Yeah, I guess.
There's more ways of giving than just physical objects.
Or
I
donating
know,
your
giving
time
to the
but,
community,
like-
whatever it is.
But
Well,
we
it doesn't
do-
need to be a community.
Well, that's what
giving.
that's what his note said.
No, but we do that in our CPG
course,
world.
yeah.
We give
1%
and
to the planet, baby.
Yeah, 1% of the planet.
What is
So-
it? Where? Who's? What checker?
It's
you write to a
the
planet?
founder of Patagonia.
The founder of the planet.
the planet Patagonia,
Okay.
the founder of the
You know what
company
he's done, right?
Patagonia.
No.
So Patagonia is obviously a giant
Oh,
company.
you don't
blah,
know
blah,
the
blah.
brand? Sorry.
And
thought
I know
you-
the brand.
And he turned the business into strictly just like complete charitable. So that it takes zero profits now, and it operates only to give everything away. Patagonia.
But he also started like a charity called 1% for the Planet.
Okay.
Where as a corporation, whatever you're selling, whatever, you pledge to give 1% of your profits to
Regardless, just
to
a
whatever the
cause, they have
cause
multiple
is. Yeah,
causes.
exactly.
So he's making $0.
Zero.
He's not paying himself a salary.
He's
He's made it.
He's
Okay.
made his money.
He can retire. He's rich
Does
as
he
shit.
sell Patagonia?
Nope.
He
just
still owns it.
Still owns it.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure he
I
still
think
owns
it's
it.
privately owned. Yeah.
Yeah, it still owns it, but the company just operates with the money it needs to operate to keep things employed. So everyone who works for the company
They get
gets
salaries.
They get
It's a
paid.
business
Speaking of which,
cost.
did you
But
know that
profit is
Rolex is
100%.
a not-for-profit?
Yeah, I did hear that. Yeah.
That's wild. I read
What's-
that the other day. I was
They
mind
don't.
blown.
The gray market makes more money than Rolex makes.
Sure,
Yeah.
but Rolex broke 10 billion this year.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, because it's all about how it shows on paper and accounting and stuff. Yeah, it's not for profit, but
Yeah.
No, the
There's
sale-
always, there's always a there's
there's
always
always. But people,
Well, people have
are
to
getting
get paid. Yeah.
yeah.
and probably more than they
Christie's
should.
a not-for-profit.
Yeah,
Well,
and
in a
everyone's
sense.
rich.
Everything's not for profit.
So the
You're not
final
making
end cap, since you didn't pull any, the only thing you pulled off my
Got
list was
nothing
something
off
that
your
you don't
shitty
like.
list.
money. Yeah.
Isn't this the truth though? The end cap really that summarizes the whole list is the golden rule.
Oh, here we go. He's rehearsed this.
No,
in
it's the
mirror.
golden rule.
Yeah.
Do you know what
Those with the gold make the rules.
No. Do you know what the
So
That's
golden
the
rule is?
golden rule.
Do you know what the golden rules?
No.
That's the golden rule that I know.
Like
Okay,
don't eat,
moving on to Paul.
don't eat yellow snow.
Okay,
That's
so
a
you
good golden
both.
rule too.
Okay, the golden rule that's known
Is wait 45
in Western
hours.
society and
Wait
clearly
45 minutes after eating before you go
That's
swimming.
another
that's
gold.
on its way. But the definition of the golden rule,
Is if it's brown, pour
Drink it down.
And if it's
Yellow, let it mellow.
no, now you're just saying words.
no, we're saying golden rules.
The
That we
golden
live
rules
by.
treat others the way you want to be treated.
Ah.
And if you live that way across the board, business, family, friends, you will succeed. It's respect, it's empathy, it's integrity, it's financial literacy. If
If
you
you
want to
believe
learn,
in that stuff,
it's everything. If you believe in anything,
Yeah.
it
Just-
covers
Yeah.
everything. If you always remember that, then you never make wrong
Yeah.
decisions. Treat others the way you want to be treated. Do things the way you others
Yeah,
want to be
that's
treated.
a
gonna
good one.
live
It's not the golden rule.
No, it's literally the definition of the golden rule.
is it?
Isn't it biblical?
who's-
Like do unto others as you would like
Yes,
done
it
unto
comes from
yourself.
But that's the
That's
exact
exactly what you just
same
said.
thing.
No, I know. I'm saying it's not golden. It's like biblical. It's a biblical rule. It's like one of the like the
And
biblical
they didn't
rules.
like gold things.
Golden rule. The golden rule is those with the gold make the rules. That's the golden rule.
Like and subscribe. Follow us on this, down in the other. Yeah, we'll have a little in service, a post podcast in service. So I'll teach you some
Yeah.
regular like English phrases.
Can I share with you some things that I learned way late in life because I moved here from another country?
Why don't we
Yes,
all learn
please.
something? One thing.
So, did you know? Because you probably do.
Yeah.
That it's bang for your buck.
Say that again.
Bang.
Spell it out.
I'm gonna get. This is great. Bang for the buck.
Spell out the word bang.
BANG.
Yeah.
Right.
What else did you think it was?
I thought it was bank. Like you take your buck to the
What?
bank.
No,
oh, yeah,
it
that's
was-
insane.
It's
Yeah,
bank
that's-
for the buck.
yeah, that's-
like
that's weird.
There's banks and there's bucks. You put the. It just made
No,
sense.
it's the biggest
Bang.
explosion for the buck. You
But
get the
what does
most
that
for
have to
your
do
money.
with the buck?
yeah, it's like the
You get
best.
the most for your
So
money.
it didn't make sense to an Israeli kid. So I just recently learned that it's not recently.
I feel like I failed you.
Okay, recently I learned
Yeah,
that.
that was
Yeah, you
Paul.
did.
How recently?
Like
It's like last week.
like in 2023, I learned that.
No,
Yeah, yeah.
I am embarrassed
That is
to be your friend, to be in business with you.
That's insane.
And a while ago, like
no
you
one's
know,
corrected you. Like how long
well-
you been with your wife?
20 years.
And you've never said. Did you say bank for your buck?
I'll tell you this: it's so common in my vernacular that I use the word,
I
the
use
phrase
it all
"bang
the
for your buck"
time.
probably like 4 times today.
Dude, I say it all the time about houses.
But, like I'm hearing bank for your buck because that's where you take the buck. You put it. Like, it's so good you can bank on
it's
it.
kind of like when you
I
have
don't
something
know.
in your tooth and
That's
like
the
nobody
education
tells you. Like
system.
your
Trying to tell you
whole-
that the only place for your money is in the bank.
Yeah,
the
it's
bank.
true.
It's like Mary Poppins.
And
Like
then also-
Tuppence.
Wait, I'm curious. You have one more?
Yeah.
What is it?
So this one you may know because I learned it a while ago. Still as a full-grown adult, maybe 5 years ago. Off-putting.
You thought it was like off like pudding?
Yeah, I thought
Eating
the pudding
pudding?
is off. Ew, like oh, that's so off-putting. The
No.
pudding is off.
No, you're
100%. 100%. And then Chrissy's like, you know, it's off-putting. I was like, what's putting? She's like, it is off-putting. And And I was like, well, that makes no sense.
You're just always like, why is everyone talking about
But
pudding all the time?
I guess that is like a factor of the ESL of like early on, right? Like you just learned it the wrong way, and that's just what it was.
Or
You
like
just
I thought
connected
that,
it.
and nobody corrected me because there's no reason to. I'm
English
using
is your
it right.
second language, so it's like you probably just like.
I'm using it right. Ooh, that's off-putting. Like, oh, I don't want. Oh, yeah.
Well, have you ever seen Between Two Ferns?
Yes.
So like in the episode with Jennifer Lawrence and obviously Zach Galifianakis, he goes, yeah. That so he says that and he's like, yeah, that's off-putting. And she goes, yeah, you should be off-putting too in that phrase. Like you
Yes,
should
exactly.
be off because you're
You should-
fat.
yeah,
That was
so
the-
that did not help when I saw that. I was like,
Yeah.
I get it.
That's
and
like
I get her.
validation for them.
Yeah.
Wait, okay. Please tell me you just have
Yeah,
one
give
more.
us
and then
more.
we're
We need a
yours.
podcast of just these fucked up things you think. Like Godspeed, you know Godspeed?
Do I use that the other day in a text message?
And what did you think it was before? Or you just always knew it was Godspeed?
No, I always knew it was Godspeed.
Okay.
But
Some people think it's Godspeak.
Legitimate.
Really?
I thought it
Who
was
thinks
2
that?
words.
I think it's common.
I thought it was 2 words.
No, it's one word.
It's one word.
Yeah, it's one word.
It's a word in
It's a
of
word.
itself. I thought it was just
It's in
2
the
words. Like
dictionary.
Godspeed, God moves fast. It's like,
Yeah.
English is a very crazy language.
It's a tough language.
It's
Yeah,
a
it's-
tough
yeah.
language, like both phonetically, like what the way it spells out.
Some
So I'll give you an
words.
example. Like, I mean, lots of languages. I know Hebrew, right? So
Yeah.
in Hebrew, every letter, like the name of the letter,
Yeah.
that name of the letter starts
is
with
the
the letter.
sound of the letter.
It
Yeah.
is the letter. So chet starts with the letter chet.
Like
And you-
W doesn't make sense.
Exactly. F doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
W. Oh, because
Right?
it starts with a D.
Right.
Yeah.
F starts with an
Okay.
E, and it's such a funny language that way.
It is.
There's
It's tricky.
we've been binge watching 90 Day Fiance, and sometimes after an episode's done, other shows come on. So there's a dating show where there's 3 English guys, and all of the girls
English
in the
as in they
house
speak English or they're
speak
British?
English. They speak English. So
Okay.
from California, or
Got
whatever, Americans, and every female is from somewhere else in the world, and they only speak their language. So
they
they
don't
have to
speak the same,
connect without.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, but it's so funny of like how like the guys trying to like explain themselves to these women. And they're
Big
just,
dick.
but it's, in
Big.
my head, I'm just like, there's like not a teenager around the world that doesn't know a couple of fucking English words. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
You
Maybe that's
find
just,
them,
like,
man.
maybe
Even in
that's-
Quebec, there's people that don't speak English, and that
they
blows my
must
mind.
understand
They
it
don't.
at
They have
all.
no idea
They
what
think
you're
we're
saying.
aliens.
Yep. They have no
I don't
idea what
think
It's
you're
I
not.
don't-
So it's funny.
It's
like,
hard
we-
to
maybe
buy,
I
but
just-
It's hard
it's
to
true,
believe, but
man.
like English is not the most popular language in the world. Like I think
Well, it
like
should be. America.
It's like
Chinese,
Spanish,
German,
or yeah, it's like some.
yeah,
it's
there's
about like
other ones.
it's like Mandarin. It's like one
Yeah,
of these
yeah,
like
yeah.
random languages. But we live in a bubble, so we think that
It's-
English
that
is the
was
most
like that
important
was a
language.
very ignorant North American thing for me to say.
Yeah, it
You
is.
basically gotta be
shame
American.
on you.
It is.
That's fine.
But what I thought you
love
were going to
America.
say is
You
like
make
that show
Schreiber
is not
look
the
good.
biggest problem because Google Translate. You can just have the conversation almost in real time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure
But
they
it's
don't
not-
allow devices on.
Oh, I guess so.
on the
There's so
show.
many. The future is here, guys. The
future
future
I
is
don't
now.
watch TV, man. Like honestly,
What do you
Like,
watch?
I watched. I honestly like I watch
Documentaries.
documentaries.
But that's watching
and
TV.
I will actually watch more podcasts than I thought I did.
I watch podcasts all the time.
a ton of podcasts.
So do I. All
On
day.
YouTube?
On YouTube. That's what we
yeah,
do.
I love watching podcasts.
Well, if you want to watch our podcast,
Are we diving into it right
let's
now?
dive into it. Go for it. It's a good time.
If you're watching on the YouTubes like Daniel does all the time, I can't believe I called you just Daniel.
Yeah, I didn't
Schreiber
like that.
does
Didn't feel good.
all the time.
Ribosomes.
Make sure you smash that like button to give us a little bit of validation. Put some pep in our step the next day.
Yeah.
If you want to know when we upload,
Treat others the way you want to be treated. If
If-
we want to treat you by liking
Yeah,
your
we
stuff,
would. If you
like
had a
us.
channel,
We like your
listen,
stuff. Yeah.
I'll tell you. If you have a channel, put it down below. I'll like it. I'll even subscribe, and I'll know how you upload by hitting that little bell,
That's our deal to you.
so you know when we upload. And you know, make a little comment below. We've got ears in our ears. You don't get them because you're not special.
Yeah, you're
I'm
not
not talking
cool.
to you, man. The AB conversation.
Yeah, that's great. See yourself the fuck out of here. How about that? And if you are listening on any of the audio podcasts, make sure you drop us a 5-star rating, because once we hit 100, we're giving away one of these things up there.
Schreiber
Alf,
votes for the Alf.
Alf.
Here you go.
Alf.
Hold
There's a
him on
lot
the
of-
way
You
out.
can hold him.
Mwah.
Yeah, he is great. And thanks, guys. So I hope you all learned a little something.
Alf.
Don't. If this is the first episode you're watching,
Sorry.
don't let this be the benchmark
Yeah.
for what you think the show's about. Paul says that Alf used to eat cats on the show. Do
Yeah,
you know if
cats.
that's true?
He did
did.
eat cats, and right now I'm
Like
actually not.
constantly or
I'm
like in the
liking
first
him less
episode?
because he has got so much hair, and I don't have any hair. And
Is
I'm
it
like,
hair or
fuck
fur?
Alf.
But that hat looks really good on you, man.
Thanks, dude. I
does.
ordered off the internet.
I like it.
Thank
the
you.
internet. You can buy things and you can watch our podcast. So thank you for that.
I'm Daniel.
Paul.
I'm also Daniel.
And this is the Dad Collective podcast.
And we'll see you on the next one.
To the moon.